Here at Bob's Watches, we receive thousands of watches from all over the world, each with their own story and personality. But one thing is never certain. We never know what's in the box.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Watch in the Box. Today we got a shipment in from Indianapolis, so let's open it up and see what we got. Okay, no Rolex box or papers. Looks like just some bubble wrap, some paper. All right, I see some gold shining through. Let's see what we got. Yes, we got a quartz, the Day-Date Oysterquartz. This is a really interesting piece and we don't see very many of them here. First thing we notice, it's a quartz. A lot of people actually see this watch and think it's a fake right off the bat because of the ticking seconds hand. It's kind of become known that if your Rolex is ticking, it's a fake. There's so many fakes out there that use a quartz movement because they're cheap, they're imitation, they're saving money and cutting costs, that you see a Submariner, you see GMT, a lot of these watches, you see the second hand ticking, instantly recognizable as a fake. However, that's not always the case. This is a genuine Rolex and it's a genuine Rolex quartz caliber. They didn't do a lot of them. This caliber was introduced in the late 70s, I believe, and it ran for about 25 years into the early 2000s. And during that time, they've only produced about 25,000 total. So it'd be around 1,000 pieces a year, which for Rolex numbers, that's a really limited number of watches. This watch is really interesting because it's a quartz version of the Rolex Day-Date. The Rolex Day-Date is one of their premium lines. Now today you can see a lot of inexpensive watches that have the Day-Date function. It's pretty common, but at the time, the Day-Date was a really premium complication. And now we think of quartz as a less expensive or possibly a lower end movement. So it doesn't make a lot of sense that it's the premium watch with the inexpensive movement. But when the watch came out, that's not how it was. Quartz was the new cutting edge technology at the time. And actually this watch sold for more than the automatic version of the Day-Date. Back then, the premium was for the quartz model, which is kind of interesting. It also showed that Rolex could kind of stay with the times. There was a big hype about quartz and it was new technology and it had a lot going for it. And Rolex being kind of slow moving in most aspects of design and innovation, Rolex kind of stepped up to the plate and showed that they could keep up with changing times and innovate and do it well. And if you see the movement on this one, it doesn't look like a quartz movement that you would pick up at a department store or whatever. It's not. It really looks similar to a Rolex automatic movement, but with the battery and the quartz functionality. It has jewels, it has an adjustment to regulate the time. Really a beautiful movement for a quartz movement. With these older quartz watches, the battery life wasn't what it is today. So today, 5 years is pretty standard. There's plenty of watches out there with like up to 10-year battery life. Back then, I think this one was probably 2 to 3 years, but it was kind of nice. Rolex recognized that, and 2 to 3 years isn't the standard service interval for this watch, so they would replace the battery for you for free if you brought it to an AD. So they would take it apart, replace the battery, reassemble it, pressure test it for you, give it back to you at no cost. So the quartz president has the same design language as the mechanical president. It has the same 3-link president style bracelet, but you can see it's different. It's not the rounded links. It's tapered a little bit more, it's flatter, it's more angular and geometric. So it has the same look, but it's been twisted and shifted a little bit to kind of give it its own feel, being quartz. And these quartz watches are really easy to spot because of that. You notice the same design elements in the case. It's really flat, it's machined, it's angular, and it continues from the case to the bracelet. And it has an integrated looking bracelet. So I actually really like that about this watch. Integrated bracelets are kind of tough because you're stuck with whatever bracelet is on the watch. You don't have the option to put it on leather, put it on a different bracelet, or whatever you feel like doing. This one, it has the look of the integrated bracelet. So it appears that the center link, is connected to the case on this little space right here. If you turn the watch over and look, it has a full, I believe it's 20 millimeter spring bar, and it's underneath kind of this hood, kind of this lug hood. So you can probably get a good angle if I show it like this, where you can kind of look under and you can see the spring bars there. This is really nice because if you wanted to, you could put a leather strap on it. You could change it to leather, or change it to whatever you want, kind of mix it up, go back to the gold. You're not stuck using the factory bracelet that it came with, and I think that's kind of nice. It has the Rolex concealed clasp that you find on other President models. And it works really nice. It's interesting, Rolex only offered this quartz movement in the Date, Datejust, and President's models. So they never offered it in the sports models. It was kind of a limited run to only certain models. And with the President, they offered them in the yellow gold that we see here and also the white gold. And this one has the gold dial, the solid gold case and bracelet. It's a really nice looking watch. Let's see what it looks like on the wrist. Oh, but first we'll do a wrist check. So I'm wearing the Parmigiani annual calendar. Fits really nice on my wrist. There's a little bit of room. I got a 7-inch wrist. Could probably take out one link, so that's kind of nice. It feels really great. It's nice and heavy. It's nice and solid feeling. I think it looks really sharp. That's solid gold with the gold case and gold dial. Looks really nice. This bracelet is actually really comfortable on the wrist. Looking at it, it looks kind of sharp and angular and possibly a little uncomfortable, but it's not at all. It actually conforms to your arm really nicely and hugs your wrist and it stays center. It's really a comfortable watch to wear. This is a really nice example of the Rolex Oysterquartz Day-Date. In terms of value, we'll probably sell this anywhere from $8,000 to $8,500. I think this is a really underappreciated watch. Kind of flies under the radar and doesn't get a lot of attention. Well, that about does it for this one. It's a really interesting piece and I'm glad you guys were able to stop by and check it out with me. Also, it almost ends our first season of Watch in the Box. We got season 2 coming up shortly. We got some changes happening, some new interesting stuff. It's gonna be really great. Make sure you stop by and check that out. Also, be sure to like and subscribe for the next Watch in the Box.